Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/relationship advice, where OP found his wife's journal and confirmed all of his suspicions. Let's begin. I just watched my girlfriend get obliterated in court by her ex-husband. What do? I am thinking of proposing to her. Posted by Reddit user New Heights.
Trying to be as unbiased as possible, but here is some backstory. We have been together for 4 years now. I came into this relationship helping her get over a failed marriage. She said her ex was emotionally abusive to her, cheated on her, and used her to stay in the country. Said he was useless and can't keep a job. She said she wanted a man to help raise her son. She and her ex were married for 4 years and had a son who is now 9 years old. After the separation, he moved about 40 miles away. My girlfriend will occasionally tell her son that his father has no heart and all manner of nasty remarks. The thing is, her ex has never missed a day of childcare and child support payments to his credit. He always travels by train to pick up their son. He spends roughly 4 days in a month with their son, which is 2 weekends. This took a toll on their son emotionally, and I was always there for support. After divorce and about 4 years later, her ex moved back to the same town with his new girlfriend just to be closer to his son and demanded 50-50 co-parenting time, to which my girlfriend refused for a whole year, which ended up involving the courts. Last week, out of the blue, my girlfriend told me that she has decided to allow her ex to go 50-50 on parenting time, and I didn't understand the sudden change of stance. Then I got a message from an unknown number when I was at work, containing a video recording of the online court proceedings. Come to find out that her ex has paid a total of $30,000 since the split, saved up loads of money for their son, and the judge not only granted 50-50 co-parenting time, but also awarded him claims on transportation cost of about $980. My girlfriend was accused of parental alienation, to which I feel partly responsible for, and I also found out that her ex was instrumental in why she has a career after working dead-end jobs through their marriage. Their son is going through therapy at the moment. What do I do? Is he really that bad, or am I being set up to be a hero where I don't need to be?
OP, I think you're misunderstanding something here, so let me straight that out for you. You are not getting set up to be a hero. No, my friend. You are getting set up as an ATM and a meal ticket, just as she did with her ex-husband. This bitch manipulated her ex and is now manipulating you. It's just a matter of time before she's telling someone else what a deadbeat you are. Whoever sent you the video was actually trying to help you. They are warning you, and if you don't listen, you will end up in the exact same position the ex is in right now. So OP, you need to run. You need to get the hell away from your girlfriend before she baby traps you and drains your resources. And now for today's second story. I feel torn between the love I have for her and the need for truth. Posted by Reddit user Why Do I?
Sorry, English is not my native language. 7 years ago, I met my wife at our workplace, and we quickly developed a strong connection, leading us to start dating after some weeks. However, right from the start, I felt some mistrust towards a colleague with whom she seemed very close. When I confronted her about it, she denied any romantic involvement with him, claiming they were just colleagues and that he had proposed they start dating, but she had turned him down and chose me instead. Nevertheless, my suspicions lingered, and I later found out from another colleague that he was talking negatively about me behind my back, which prompted me to confront him directly. He denied saying anything negative about me and claimed to be happy for us. However, upon confronting my wife again, she admitted that they had been in communication on social media before our relationship began. During the few weeks we were discussing, when I tried to check their discussion, she immediately deleted it, further fueling my doubts and confusion. A few months later, when my phone was broken, my wife borrowed one of her old phones, and I accidentally discovered compromising exchanges dating back to before we met, sexting, sending nudes. I also discovered that she lied about her previous relation, as she told me she only met 2 guys before me, and they only exchanged some kisses and that nothing physical happened. It was a shock to me, and I felt betrayed. Despite her apologies and assurances of change, I struggled to trust her. In the end, I decided to stay since it was before we met up. Some messages were only some days before we were together. Despite these revelations, we chose to continue our relationship as we had no other issue, and she really changed from what I have seen, and eventually got married 3 years ago. We now have a 2-year-old son together. Despite our love and commitment, these past lies continue to weigh on me, and I often find myself disturbed by flashbacks and memories of these events. When I try to address these concerns with my wife, the discussions often become heated. She defends herself by saying it's in the past and that it's my fault that I continued the relation with her knowing all of this, which makes me feel more confused and wounded. This impasse has created tensions in our marriage, and I feel torn between the love I have for her and the need for truth and trust in our relationship.
Well, OP, I kinda agree with your wife here. It is your fault. You knew that she was a hoe. You knew that she was fucking that coworker and probably more men during your relationship. You knew deep down that you were being gaslit and manipulated. There were red flags everywhere after all, but you still married the hoe and had a kid with her. So tell me, OP, how does it feel to be the caretaker of the town bicycle? And now for today's final story. I discovered my wife's affair. Posted by Reddit user HRMmaybe.
I am afraid that too many specific details will make this obvious, but the amount of detail I am willing to include will make me seem incredibly naive. My wife and I have a hobby. Through this hobby we met someone years younger than us. He seemed to want my approval or friendship over that of my wife. Time passed, my wife became more involved, so we became friendlier with this guy, but it coincided with us forming lots of new friendships in the community, so it didn't seem all that unusual. I liked him, he seemed like he liked us. I did think it was a bit weird how at some point my wife and he became close friends that hung out all day when I was at work, but with the age difference and how long my wife and I had been together, plus kids, and her assurances that it was ridiculous to think anything of it, plus he and I were friends, it just didn't seem plausible at all. I trusted both of them, sort of.
By the end of this, you are going to be crying like a little bitch.
There were other instances, small things that made me wonder, but for whatever reason, I saw these things, and while I wondered, I also just shook it off as me being possessive and jealous because she wouldn't do that. If I mentioned something, she would brush it off in a way that made me feel dirty-minded for thinking it was possible. I would occasionally have intrusive thoughts that something was definitely happening between them. Like the idea would pop into my head randomly, or I'd have weirdly vivid dreams about it. I could sit there and convince myself it was ridiculous. I know my wife, but even still, intrusive thoughts are what they are. So I meditated on their relationship, which is a pretentious way to say I thought through various scenarios of what their relationship actually was or could be to see how it would make me feel. There's nuance, but essentially, I realized it didn't bother me in the way society implies it should. I know how that sounds, but it doesn't turn me on either. I don't want to be involved or watch or anything. It just isn't something that I feel I have a right to be really possessive over. She will make her own choices. Now this might make me seem pretentiously try-hard zen or whatever, but I'm not. Other stuff bothers me. I get moody, things upset me. I'm antisocial and depressed at times. I know I am not always the best company. So yeah, I'm human. She is human, our relationship has issues. She has issues, I have issues. Let's all get together and compare meds. Like whatever. In the end, get to choose what bothers me. She was home with me at the end of the day. Whatever else is whatever else.
Oh my god!
So I never had confirmation that anything was actually going on, and at a certain point I just accepted that whatever it was, it was. Eventually, they had a falling out over something. She seemed quite angry at him, but it seemed to make sense at the time. More time passed, and here's a thing that happened. She has a journal. I knew about it. I had never sought it out. If you had asked me, I would tell you I have no interest in reading it. She has had this thing for years and I have never indulged the idea of reading it, looking for it, or acknowledging its existence. But I was cleaning one day. I didn't even realize what it was at first. It was on a different cover to when I last saw her writing on it. Anyway, I look inside this booklet to see what it was, and I should have stopped reading when I realized, but I didn't. Like Augustus Gloop in the chocolate room, I wanted more. I stuffed my face, and nearly drowned in gooey mess. In it she had laid out the stages of her growing feelings for him, her longing for the escalation of their relationship, the pleasure she took in it, and the slowdown of communication to eventual breakup. At the time, I thought the emotions she was having about him were a bit intense, but I believe I have trouble with emotions. So I assumed the friendship going south explained it, and I just didn't understand because I don't have friendships the way she does. But you know, reading her journal, it kind of laid it out that I was interpreting her emotions correctly. She was just not being honest with me. I mean, all along, what I was thinking about their relationship was not necessarily 100% accurate, but I was not far off. The entire time she was telling me how ridiculous the idea was. The very things I would ask her about, she would write longingly in the journal how meaningful they were, while telling me I was reading into things, and paranoid, seeing things that weren't there. So I guess the lying and making me feel like I was imagining things, and telling me I was misinterpreting innocent things as tawdry, it bothers me. The intentionality of it. I totally understand why she went with lying about the situation and their relationship to me. It is required part of affairs, right? I guess it hurts a bit she would do this while telling me the opposite, but it's not like there is an alternative. That is how affairs work. I just feel really naive that I believed she was better than that. You know, since she told me she was better than that, and I get it, he was fulfilling an emotional connection that I was unable to, for whatever reason. Depression or selfishness, or being miserable at work all day and not talking to her when I got home, or any number of other things I did or didn't do. I'm not really sure if there is one specific thing, but she felt she wasn't getting what she needed from me and found it elsewhere. I'm not even suggesting she didn't mention feeling alone and neglected beforehand. So I get it, but since I got this information from her journal, I don't exactly know what to do with it. Like I say, I understand a lot of the reasoning. I understand a lot of her pain. Time has passed, and I feel like I have faced the reality long before I had confirmation. So there is not as much shock or anger, but at the same time, I'm a little disappointed at how easily she indulged herself and lied to me about it. Like it's a touch selfish. Hurts a bit. I'm kind of struggling a little with how to proceed. I have no interest in divorcing her over this.
Wow, like a bitch.
And that's what Frieza said.
I guess I don't even know whether or not I should even bring it up. What is my motivation? Playing gotcha. I don't even know what I want from the conversation. She is not sorry, at least not sorry enough to bring it up or admit it to me. I have no doubt this is something she would rather stay secret forever. If she feels guilty, it doesn't appear to be strong enough to compel her to come clean. So if I talk to her about this, I don't even know what I want her to say. It's not like me telling her it hurt will be a revelation to her. She isn't an idiot. On top of that, I have to face the fact that I violated her privacy. It's not like her journal was sitting open and I couldn't avoid seeing giant clear words. I picked it up, opened it, realized what it was and chose to continue reading instead of putting it down.
Every word you just spoke has made me violently angry. Oh great! Now I'm agreeing with Cell!
So does anyone have any words of wisdom? TLDR, my wife brought her affair partner into our home as a friend and made me feel I was being unfair to her by suspecting it, till her journal confirmed it. What do I do?
Wow, I am honestly very impressed. Your wife did a great job, OP. You are a very, very well-trained simp. Look, man, you turned a blind eye to this since the beginning, and you are willingly rolling over again. And now you're guilt-tripping yourself by feeling bad you invaded her privacy. It's very unreal to me that some people can be reduced to this kind of tiny mindset. I mean, is it really that bad out there in the West? I mean, why the fuck do you even feel guilty for being betrayed? She had a long physical affair right under your nose, and you want to stay married to her for some weird reason. So why the fuck are you still posting here on r/relationship advice if you already decided on what to do? Here's an unsolicited advice for you. Why not start growing a damn spine? Yeah, you should start with that, OP. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.